Give your mind that food. If it wants that social media, give your mind the social media, but choose the content wisely and give it in a way, play smart with your mind so that your mind will not enslave you, that you will have a control over your mind. In this material world, there are things for us that we can enjoy, but we have to do it wisely and not in a way just to achieve a particular, because see, we are not spiritual monks, we are normal common people and we are used to social media. Now in this generation, to detox social media completely, now this is a practice that might not impact and give you that kind of result which you are looking at, because our minds are not trained like a spiritual monk, that we have completely got hold over our mind. The ancient practice of meditation is super fascinating, and for this very reason people find themselves getting increasingly drawn towards its different techniques. But the secret lies not in the techniques but the two factors that is going to influence the final outcome and the result of the meditation technique that you're following. Now in order to achieve and seek the holistic development, personal growth, increased productivity and the holistic well-being, and how long lasting the impact will be, it depends on the two very factors. If you ignore those factors, then you won't be able to increase and maintain the productivity level of your performance. If you want to achieve personal growth, increase productivity, holistic well-being, combat mind cluttering, then there are two ways to do it, and the two external factors that are going to influence the internal and within you, and how you respond to the external factors that you combat in your day-to-day life. Now, to begin with, first, the ability to develop a routine, and second, the mastering of that specific technique. You can go for different techniques, but if your root and the foundation is not strong enough, then any technique you do will give you superficial result. How do we do that? First, to begin with, let's understand the nature of these two factors, because these are just not interrelated, but the former impacts and influences the later. Understand this thing, the art of developing the particular routine and mastering its skill, because you cannot miss out on a single day when you are starting and beginning the practice, otherwise it will not give you that result which you are targeting. If you choose a particular method, say you're combining a particular meditation with a yoga asana, then here you are taking the help of your body to reach your mind and heal the mind ailments. But here, in order to impact and individually target the mind and target the mind ailments, then you choose meditation uniquely, and you can combine it with the object of meditation. That can be sound, that can be a holy verse, that can be a mantra, or that can be simple visual meditation, or that can be a meditation that can focus the object as nothingness. When you close both your eyes and you focus on the dot between your eyes, then your object of focus and the object of meditation is nothingness. That is the pranic meditation you're doing, because that is the pranic urja which you're focusing on, that small dot somewhere, that shining light, that hazy light which we find between our eyes, and that is slightly strenuous. People do the mistake and the usual mistake of giving it more strain, and they find the more the strain you're giving, the more accuracy you are achieving in the result. No, it doesn't work like that. Or visual or mantra chanting or any meditation object that you're making, it is not the object that you have to focus on. Focus is the object, but the ultimate focus and the attention that you are paying to that object, and how much that ability the object you are giving to keep yourself holding and not letting your mind wander away. And if it does, you have to gently bring your mind back to that particular object. While choosing the practice and the object of your meditation, keep one thing in your mind. First, judge your own nature. Let's discuss how do we do it. First of all, realize your own nature and thoughts and identity each of the stressors, because individually, without disturbing those stressors, without criticizing those stressors, individually target each stressor and then throw it out of your mind. This is how we begin the journey, because if we don't begin like this, then while you're meditating, those thoughts will come, clutter your minds, and we begin to criticize those thoughts. every thought and the action that is coming in our mind is a kind of conversation that the body is conducting with the universe. This is something that will impact the overall result of our meditation. Keeping this in mind, when we sit and set the intentions right for meditation, then the ultimate result will be soothing and helpful. So set your intentions right, that I am going to do the meditation for this long duration. So in order to empower our mind and to reboot the mind, if we want the mind to get completely charged, just the way we put our mobile phones to charge before going to sleep, our mind gets the process of getting charged throughout the night. We subject our minds to different battles that it fights with the day-to-day activity that we do. It combats those emotions during your night, and you're not letting your mind to get that complete rest in order to get charged, because night is the time when the mind is completely connected, the subconscious is connected with the universe. But even during that time, if the heavy activities of whatever you have done keeps playing in your mind, then you are preventing your mind from connecting with the universe. Just as we are putting our mobile phones to charge just before we go to sleep, in the similar manner, the mind is getting the opportunity to get charged throughout the night when the subconscious connects with the cosmic energy. But when we overexert it and we stop and prevent it from connecting to the universe, we are blocking the ability of our mind by surfing the kind of content that will, just before sleeping, we surf the kind of content that can trigger the wrong kind of emotions in the mind, and then the mind will be fully cluttered and it will not be able to recharge itself the way it will if we sleep before doing a fixed routine of meditation, and we fix that routine and develop the skill of practicing and keeping and maintaining that routine. Then our mind will successfully connect with the cosmic energy. Try and understand how it's working. The content that we surf and the practices that we do throughout the day has a lot of impact on the subconscious. If we want our subconscious to successfully connect with the cosmic energy throughout the night, and we don't want that whatever we have done in the daytime or just before sleeping, those 15 minutes, those 1 hour before the sleep is very important. If we surf the wrong kind of contents during that time, wrong kind of contents are those which can trigger the wrong kind of emotions in you, which can trigger the wrong kind of stressors within you, because those stressors will keep playing in your subconscious. Firstly, it will play in your mind, because those stressors will keep playing on your conscious mind, and slowly the conscious will pass it to the subconscious. It will continuously keep playing in your subconscious mind, and in spite of having the ability to connect with the universe, by doing this we are weakening our subconscious with our own actions, and intentional weakening of subconscious is something that we are doing. We are not allowing it to reboot and recharge so that the next morning we can perform our actions and conduct our duties and activities in the best of its potential and ability, because we are not allowing the mind to rest. Until your mind rests, it will not be able to recharge and connect with the universe with its full potential and take in the properties and the energies of the universe. In order to do that, we have to wisely choose the content that we are surfing just before we sleep, and after finishing the surfing of this content, we have to devote some 30 minutes to the meditation practice daily. Why? Because if we don't do that daily, then our mind is not that capable that the content that it's surfing, it will be able to wipe it out just before you sleep. Because once you develop an expertise in something, then you have expertised your mind in a way that now it can wisely decide what content to take in and what to throw out, because you have trained your mind in that manner. But if you're a beginner and if you're just starting off with the practice, I will not suggest that completely detox social media or get off your phone and completely divorce your phone and divorce social media and spend your time and invest in the spiritual practice, because that again leads some people to depression. I've seen many of my wellness clients, they feel very low. They feel completely they are disconnected from the world, because see, as a beginner you're not a spiritual monk who has gained control of the mind. You're not a spiritual monk. As a beginner you're an ordinary common man, and we all are. We need to watch our phones. This is something I am completely against, and I never practice it myself, and I never tell any of my wellness clients to do, because this has a negative impact on us. When you divorce something, completely, which you're used to, it sends a shocking wave and the mind turns rebel. When you sit for meditation, you have divorced your phone and you are going for a social media detox. That will have a negative impact, but just because the subconscious is very, very smart, and it becomes rigid when it knows you're not going to get something. So give it what it wants, so that when you sit for meditation and you're doing any spiritual practice, it will not take your mood low. Instead of experiencing upliftment of the mood, people start to feel low and depressed, and that nothing is left in their life. There is no charm, no happiness. It's just peace, because peace is something, but we as human have the tendency that we can compromise peace for the sake of happiness. But this comes very naturally to us. So only peace is not enough for man. So let's not stress ourselves out and deviate our focus, that you're sitting for meditation and your mind is, okay, today I didn't watch the news, what's going on in the news. Give it that food which it's looking for, but don't let it feast on it. Am I being able to explain what I want to? Let's not deprive our mind completely of something that it is looking for, but again, let's not allow the mind to feast on it completely. We have to go and play smart with the mind. Then that is the way we'll be able to achieve the target. Develop that particular routine. In this way, the mind will not be able to control that. It's actually being trained and tamed, and it will not be able to rebel, because it will not understand what's happening to it. You know that what you're doing to it, but the mind is not being able to exactly realize. This is the communication that we can have with our mind. Now you will say, or you will think, that how is it that I am knowing something and the mind is not knowing something? This has happened the way it trains the signals that we give to our minds. See, when we are very, very sad, at times we do overeating. And why do we do it? And we eat on the junk food and we feast on the food that we like. What are we doing? We are confusing our mind, and we are sending those pleasure. You see, the dopamine increases and the happy hormone increases. What are we doing? We are sad, but we fool our mind. How we are tricking our mind? The same way we have to trick our mind in the spiritual practice also. Give it the social media which is looking for, but do it so smartly that it's not able to understand that it is getting the social media, but not exactly how it wants it. It's not being able to feast on it. Don't give it the wrong kind of contents. Don't give it those contents that will trigger the wrong kind of emotions within you. But again, don't deprive the mind of the social media and the day-to-day activity. Throughout the day, suppose you have had a lot of fight and you have had a bad day. Now, what the mind will do, it will suck in those energy, it will take in order to stop and prevent itself and its subconscious from connecting with the universe and taking charge and getting charged positively with the properties of the universe and the cosmic energy. So what you have to do, you have to very slyly and cunningly surf the kind of social media that you want, and just after doing that and just before sleeping, go for a 30-minute meditation. So mind will automatically become clear of what you have surfed the whole day, and then it will not realize that it didn't get social media or it got social media, because it will get, you are giving mixed signals to your mind. So give those 30 minutes to meditation so that you can unclutter your mind just before you go to sleep. Then your mind is getting the mixed signals. Now you have to do it for a specific time. You cannot continue doing it, because after a point of time, and when you develop that routine, your mind will slowly get tamed and trained that it will wisely, automatically throw out the content that will generate wrong kind of emotions within you. This has to be done only till the period that we are taming and controlling the mind in a way that it has developed the skill and the art of finding and getting accustomed to that particular routine to which you are subjecting your mind. Once you do that, then you don't have to keep fooling your mind, because now the mind will develop that ability and get used to that routine, and the routine will train that mind in order to empower itself, and it will know what content to take in and what to throw out just before sleep, because your mind is getting accustomed to that routine. And once the mind gets accustomed to that routine will do its work, and you will automatically feel your mind is empowered enough that any content that you watch will not be able to. See, many religious scholars and spiritual monks who have got their expertise and that ability and that control in their mind, even if they watch some wrong kind of content, why it does not affect them just the way it does a normal man? Because the normal man has not trained its mind and not developed the art of accustoming the mind to that particular routine, because people focus on just the spiritual practice and gets fascinated, because the different kind of techniques are fascinating. When you serve something, when you get to know, you get to experiment with your body, anything when you begin, it is very fascinating. But by the end of the day, or after a few days, say 3 or 4 days, you begin to find it boring. It's a natural tendency we have. Just in the beginning, it will fascinate us because it's a new technique and we will think, okay, this will do miracle on us. But when we don't get to see that miracle happening, we slowly lose our interest and get back to our normal life. This is what we do when we eat certain kind of diet food also, that it's good for our health. And after a period of time, when we don't see that the result is as quick and as fast as you're looking for, you lose your interest and get back to your normal routine. You observe yourself, this is what you end up doing, and any normal man will end up doing this, because this is our natural inclination that we have towards result. We are result oriented people, and we don't see result and the result of our choice and the particular time period we want, then we begin to lose our interest. So try to hone the skill and develop yourself getting accustomed of a particular routine. And this factor will influence the next factor that I mentioned, and that factor is mastering the technique which you are looking for. Not targeting multiple techniques at a time. Focus on one particular technique and give it your best and achieve that result. Bread. 41 days of life-changing experience, no dependency. What the slavery? Bread.